Hello, my name is Jennifer and welcome to another Sims 4 news video. This time I'm talking about the June 14th game update that was to prepare our games for the Werewolf game pack coming out on Thursday, June 16th. I am going to touch on what was new, what was fixed, and the known mod impact at the time that I am recording this, or at least what I know about it. So first off, what's new at a very high level? We got the Lunar Cycles, we got the telescope, there's some new moon prints that you can get from the observatory. There were 3 Create a Sim items, and there was a couple of Build By items. There were changes to scenarios, and their Wolfsbane, which previously was in the Vampire pack, has now made it into a base game, and they have like some small thing about reticulating splines is back as a loading tip on the loading screen when you're traveling. So I'm actually going to start with the changes to scenarios, and then I'm going to go through the rest in the order that they have them in the patch notes. So first off, when you go into your game, you're going to see this new menu, and the play scenario button is big there, and it's now underneath the resume. Previously it was lower down, and it has this sort of pink coloring that they have there. So when you select the play scenario, then you're going to now see these tile views. Your scenarios that are time limited are going to be at the top. They then have this recommended for you, which from my understanding is the same for others. Let me know if yours looks different in a comment down below, and then all the rest are down below. And then they have them also, they're different. They have this tile view. So if you hover over it, it tells you what you're starting with right there and the story endings. And then when you go play now, which will do it, you can go with a new household, an existing household, or a new household in a new save. One thing that is different with this that I don't like is that the new or existing is going to start you in the save that's currently, in the resume stage, like the last save you played. So previously, you could choose the save. Now, it's only letting you put it in the last save you played. Obviously, the workaround, if you want it in a particular save, is go into that save, save it so it's the top level save, and then do the plus new or the existing. The existing is only going to work if you have a household that meets the requirements. But if you don't have a household that meets the requirements, I'll do that. It will actually let you create the household when you get into the game. So here, none of these Sims meet the requirements, the households that are here. You could go look at other households. It's possible that there's someone there, but you can then here do anyone and it'll take you and create a Sim. So you don't actually, so if you think you're going to be able to do it, but then you realize you can't, you can still create a new household. So now we're in live mode. You can see that the scenario UI is different than it was before. If you played it before, or if you watch anybody play them, I have a few scenario Let's Plays. It continues that color scheme, and you still can scroll through and see the items, but we now have this delete button here. If there was one before, it wasn't just as obvious to me, and it cancels the scenario, but you get a warning, so you would cancel it. But also you have this that gives you the scenario details, which just gives you what you were seeing before, and then it shows you the potential outcomes. And again, you can cancel the scenario. So those are what is kind of new with respect to that. I don't mind most of it. I do not like the fact that it's forcing you to have chosen the save beforehand and saving it so that you have it up there. I like to be able to choose my save when I was creating the scenario. So it's just an added step that I think is unnecessary. But that's just my opinion. So we already have the new telescope set up over here. But before we get to the new telescope, let's talk about the new moon phases. So in total, we now have 8 phases: new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. The default settings, the moon will change each night, but you can change the lengths of the phases in the environment section of the game options. So let's go take a quick look at that. So here's your game options, and this is where your environment settings are. This is where the weather settings were previously. And indeed, if you have seasons, you can see that is there, and the snowy escape weather effects are there too if you have that pack. But here you can see for the lunar cycle, The default is 8, which is what this is set to, but you can do 2, 4, 8, 16, or 24 days for it. You can set a permanent phase, which it's currently disabled because it is going through the different cycles. And there you can see all the different phases, which I already mentioned. And then you can disable the lunar effects because there are lunar effects. I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to leave it as it is. So the moon phase will affect your sim. Each phase grants a special gameplay boost that can be viewed by hovering over the moon icon. Well, I actually don't see anything, so maybe it depends on the moon phase. Right now, it's a waxing crescent moon because I've already played for a sim day with another household in this save. It starts with the new moon when you load into the game. Or that's what I've noticed. I went into a couple. So I'm not seeing anything. But if you want to know when the various stages are, you can look in the calendar and it will show you the various stages right there. And then there are some cute new interactions for toddlers. We don't have any, so we can't check it out. They have special questions they can ask during each phase, and they can say goodnight to the moon, and it'll grant them special moon dreams, which may change depending on the particular moon phase that night. I'm going to have to check that out. That just sounds quite adorable. And there is a Princess Cordelia reference hidden in this pack. I don't know if that's in the werewolf pack or in the update. It says pack. But also with respect to the impact, occult sims will find the moon now plays an extra role in how their powers behave. During certain moon phases, mermaids have less hydration loss. Vampires will recharge power slower. Spellcasters cast spells more successfully, and aliens receive a special moodlet while moonbathing, which is also now a thing for all Sims, teen, and older. Obviously, can only be done, I'm guessing, at night. So now we're going to move along to the new telescope. So there are different options that come on the telescope, but that would depend on the time of day and also what your Sim's skills are, because the options that are shown here are in the update notes are different than what I'm going to show you right here. So she has the option to stargaze moon. Well, she doesn't because it's the wrong time of day, but if it was night, she would have the option to stargaze or moongaze. But right now she can observe the sky. This is the child, and the mom's going to be the same because she has no skill. It is portable, so you can put it in your inventory. Yay for that. Children, as you can see, can use it. We'll let her come over and use it. Also, so the options that they're showing in the update notes are spy on neighborhood, which would be tied to mischief, observe the sky, which we see, search for the truth, stargaze, track satellite, and spy on apartments. They actually don't mention the moon gaze, but I guess that's sort of, I don't know, but it is obviously an option. They don't mention it separately there. So they do have an important warning. Viewing the night sky can be dangerous work. If your sim notices something coming straight for them, get inside quickly. Death by meteorite is now a thing, and so are meteorite ghosts. Who knew? So it looks like she should be safe right now. Oh, why is there a Grim Reaper here? Anyways. We're going to pause while we go on to talk about other things. So, the observatory. It also got something new. We got 10 new framed moon prints when moon gazing with the observatory. And it says they're very pretty, and I hear one may show what 6M looks like from space. We also got some Create a Sim updates. We got the new beard, which we knew was coming. I'll show a screenshot on the screen. Remember that the new things, including this telescope, will not show as new in build by mode or create a sim because they are something being added to base game. So now that we've done with showing the new beard, they will see some changes they made to the base game wedding dress variants that were released with the My Wedding Stories game update. It was to address some feedback on the rainbow versions of them, so they've added some new variants that are ombre and faded 2 of the dresses. The other thing, which I'll show here, is that they heard that we wanted the My Wedding Stories wedding hijab without the veil, so we have a new hijab headpiece in base game, so you can see that there on the screen, which I'm just getting from the update notes. In build mode, we now, I'll show here, The Brickery Elite Caution wallpaper, which complements the existing base game Brickery Elite wallpaper, which they showed both of them in the screenshot that I'm showing. There are also 2 new terrain paints. One has a lot of tiny rocks that are very cute, and the other is pine duff, and both look fantastic in Moonwood Mill if they say so themselves, but we can use them wherever we want. So we've already talked about the changes to the scenarios, and then also Wolfsbane was brought to base game, and they have that loading tip back that I had already mentioned. Now, the bug fixes all show up on the screen, and I'm just going to talk about a few of the bigger ones, but everything that was mentioned in the May 31st laundry list was on this list as being fixed. I haven't actually confirmed that it's been fixed. Hopefully it has. Plus a few more things, but I will show them up here. And like I said, I will just touch on the top things that seem big to me. So there were some issues with the 16-inch MacBook Pro users, the 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro, and those have been fixed. So was an issue with things disappearing on low medium graphics settings. More importantly, the game was crashing on low settings. That shouldn't be the case anymore. And there was another one somewhere, and some other sort of issues with displays and graphics on, Xbox and various things. But the big thing here is that the Sims were unable to build rocket ships at times, but that should be fixed. So yay, I was using Simvasion's mod. It's been retired as not needed anymore. So that's a really big one. There were Dream Home Decorator. There were some issues with adding level additions with a couple of the types of gigs. You can see that there. That's supposed to be fixed. And there's been some general fixes with some clothing across these various packs, which for my wedding story, that was a couple of things that were on the laundry list and that were fixed, plus a couple of more things. The fun one from my wedding stories was that awkward moment when a Sim leans in to kiss while slow dancing and fails. Well, it's even more awkward now because they're actually touching and their hands aren't floating. Or is that less awkward? We aren't sure. Now for Spa Day, the main bug fix there was the self-care specialist can now complete the hustle goal. And then both for Spa Day and Snowy Escape, there were some text corrections for other languages. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the mod impact, and mainly the mods that I saw impacted. There may be some that I'm not talking about or that weren't impacted at all. I suggest you go look at that mod post on the forums. Even though Luth isn't updating it till she's back from her vacation, there are lots of notes there from people coming in and reporting on the various mods. And also, I got some of this information, a lot of this information from Deaderpool's mod channel on his Discord. So speaking of Deaderpool, MCCC has an update. The new version is 2022.3.2, and they did comment that even when you add the new version, which you need to do, it will show as being 2022.3.1 in your game, but as long as you've downloaded it after you've seen that it's been updated, you'll have the correct version. UI cheats broke. It has been updated. It was causing issues, with your UI and not being able to see things. The other one by Weirbusu that broke was the More Columns mod, but that has also been updated, so those are both available for you to update in your game if you use them. Little Miss Sam had a bunch of mod updates. I just have that showing on the screen. Now 15 clubs per sim, that broke. It has been updated. I noticed on the page there that it actually said that they expect that to pretty much break with every update. So if you do use that, you probably are already aware of that fact. Now for Twisted Maxis, his mods are confirmed as fine except for the All Scenarios mod, which is understandable given all of the changes. He had tweeted earlier to say that EA had made all the previous scenarios permanent. However, that's not true. So he wasn't going to bother updating it until the Best Friends Forever timer ran out. But someone did reply to him to say that some of the time limited ones are actually missing, and I have that on the screen so you can see the ones that are missing. So hopefully he'll be updating that. Now for Kawaii Stacy, she is currently making all downloads unavailable for fixes and updates. So they're saying essentially assume that they're broken as of now. However, the education bundle will most likely be fine, but if you're having problems, you know, it's not tested, so it still could be. They just kind of think maybe it'll be okay. That's not from, that's just from the moderator on her Discord. And then kind of the big one. So Missouri Yuki reported that color sliders is broken, but in general, I'm seeing that some skins, sliders, and hairs are broken, a lot of them. So if you use those, they may be broken. If you have older ones, I mean, hopefully something happens that they'll get fixed. So those are just the ones that I've seen. So I'm just commenting about them here. Obviously, there's lots of other mods that, you know, there may be, you know, just go check out your various sources. The other source to go to, and it doesn't matter about the game rating for is Sims VIP has a list. Scarlett monitors that and keeps that up to date. I just don't find it as user-friendly for looking through it, but I mean, if you're using a lot of mods, it's probably a good source to check. So let me know what you think about the game update. Are you excited? What are you most excited for? Have you had a meteor death yet in your game? If you've already updated your game, let me know about that too. And just in general, what's your favorite thing? But that's going to be it for this video. Likes and comments are always appreciated and they really help with the algorithms. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!